bit of a mix up for time. Thankfully, I'm still here before the players that will be playing today. Excuse me while I have something to eat. Hello guys, what is up? This is Hobo. A little bit of a snafu when it came to the timing. We are just waiting for all players to gather. So, this is going to be the second day of the second week of the tournament, the Proleague tournament. And today we will be casting OPCATA versus Drunk Friends. The first match is going to start off with Slammer4, the ace of his team, versus the one and only Zhao, primarily and only developer of Little War Game at this moment. And that game's going to be played on Miramar. Slammer is an extremely impressive player in terms of skill and capabilities. He, however, did lose 0-2 last week when he was facing Daz, who is, by all metrics, the top player. Destroy Call saying hi to Twitch. The second map is going to be Ravaged, and it's going to be Prankster Gangster versus Renus. Renus has an extremely effective and scary mech play, as long as you don't know how to counter mech. A lot of the top tier players like Slammer and Daz do know how to counter it though, so against any of them, Renus isn't much of a challenge, but for Prankster Gangster, I think that's going to be a bit of a hurdle for him to get over. That being said, Renus does play a very late game style, and he's open to greed in the beginning. The next match is going to be SQL versus Depanon Silent Fjord. I'm not sure how that match is going to go. It's going to be interesting to see. And the one right after that is going to be Hero of Ages versus Rooks. Again, I am not entirely sure how that game's going to go on Sylvan Charm. It could potentially go to Rooks, as it is a wonderful map for beasts to just continuously expand. And if it does go to an Ace match, it will be played on Xenos. Good fun. Just trying to wait for the players to all assemble here. Zhao is currently here, waiting on Slammer. Getting ready to watch this game. It's going to be interesting to see what Zhao does. Now, Zhao doesn't often play on the competitive field, but he does a lot of stuff in the background, and it's always wonderful to see a game he plays. In the first game, I want to say, was playing AC and had very good aggression with a cheese kind of tower approach. Okay. Just waiting on S4. Slammer was actually one of the people that taught me how to play this game years and years ago. I believe I started playing this game, I want to say February of 2016. Still recognize quite a few faces from back then. Some new ones along the way, some ones that were there way before me. And here's Slammer. Looks like the game's going to be starting pretty soon. So, the thing about Mirrored Mire is it's a very bizarre map. There's two entrances to the natural. Perks joining in for just a second. I'm very curious to see what Zhao decides to do on this map. Again, with all the different openings going along the sides there, it can make it very interesting in terms of how to approach. And at any given location, you can be approached by 3 or 4 sides, aside from the top right and bottom left expansions. I'm going to start by looking at the production tabs, but I will be, switching over to the unit tabs partway through the match. So, in the top left, playing for Drunken Friends, we have Zhao. In the bottom right, we have Slammer, otherwise known as S4, playing for OPCATA. We've seen Slammer play mech style in the past 2 games, so we're probably going to expect that from him. We do see House first, so potentially going for a fast expansion, either that or playing for barrack style. Meanwhile, Zhao is not done anything quite yet, still pretty standard. He is currently floating 200 gold, not sure what he's up to. Again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Right after this tournament, there's actually going to be the 4.3 update, so that's going to be exciting. We see Wolf Dens coming up from Slammer, actually. Meanwhile, Zhao is sending a worker forward. As a note, Zhao actually stopped worker production to get that fast castle out, which I'm not sure how well it's going to work against this 2-den opening. It's going to be something to see. It means he's going to start getting workers out a little bit sooner, but again at the cost of being able to easily defend, especially because there's no way to make a convenient wall blocking both your main and your natural expansion. You can already see working on an effective wall here. That is his first house. He's supply blocked. He can't make additional workers at current. So already is 10 workers to 11. Slammer's not needing to worry about worker production. He has plenty for a single base. He's just going to have to try to get some wolves out. So what this is really going to come down to is how Zhao responds to this 2-den opening. It's entirely possible for him to block it. He's definitely going to need to pull workers. Not sure how many he's going to end up needing. Depends on the micro. But it does look like he's going to go for some counter beast play. Slammer's scouting the map, checking for any kind of proxies, but he will see the second Wolf Den and understand that was an expansion with 2-den. And is going to start pulling his wolves, knowing that there's no shenanigans that could have been happening. Meanwhile, it's going to be 3 workers against 3 wolves. 4 wolves now. Looking at the unit tab, it's now 7 wolves on the field for Slammer. Definitely looks like Zhao's going to need a tower to help deal with this. We're about to get our 8 and 9 wolves, and a worker does go down. That's the first worker for the game. And another one is about to go down as well. And the second. This could be very deadly, and yep, GG is called. It's a brief game. That was in full counter with build order, unfortunately. If Slammer was doing anything besides that 2-den opening, I feel like that would have gone very differently. Any interesting matchups Epic Pants is asking for today? I would say I definitely want to see SQL versus Dubna and Hero of Ages versus Rooks. It was unfortunately a brief game though, but again, I'd say that's primarily due to build order choice. Zhao went for a fairly greedy approach, and Slammer went for an extremely aggressive approach, so. The next match is going to be Prankster versus Renus. Just going to make sure they're both here. Okay. Mm. Yep. Slimer's actually messaging me. I had messaged him on Discord asking if he wanted to join in. Hello. Hi. That was an unfortunate choice of builds for Zhao. He just got hard countered with that.
What's up, Ho?
Hi. It's going well. Yeah, a bit of a
Clean little map there.
Yeah, I got a little mix-up with the time. Apparently I was looking at the line block versus team destroy call, was why I was thrown off a little bit. But we are here, and the tournament is going. I'm gonna make the lobby for the next match. Hello?
Okay.
Hi.
So, this map here is definitely going to be Drunk Friends favored. Just kind of the way the lineups faced off. I think our first match was pretty much OPCATA favored with me versus Zhao. But there's a good chance for the series to end up tied here because I think Rhinus is probably the strongest player, at least one of the strongest from their team against probably one of the weakest from our team. So
Both players are here. Okay, Renus just gave us his build order.
I do have an idea of what Prankster might do here, but I'll save that for once we get into the game.
Yep. I am ready when you are. Yeah, I was just saying, that match was unfortunate versus Zhao. It was purely a countered build.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about the match beforehand, and I was like, I knew, I felt very confident I could beat Zhao even with a disadvantaged build order. I just didn't want to have any situation where I'd be up against a build order loss. And I feel like Chuden is basically the safest build you can go for.
It stops cheese, it stops quite a few things. It does put you a little bit behind in the late game if you don't get enough damage done, but even with that...
Well, really, I feel like the only build that Chuden really struggles against is probably One Rax Expand.
What about Workshop expansion?
Workshop expansion, I think you can usually get a couple workers. Almost always. Because the Gatlings comes a lot later than the Raider. And usually you can always just focus down workers, delay stuff. You can even poke away at the house and do damage, usually with the way SimCities work. So I tend to be pretty comfortable.
Renus has already left the game.
Alright, looks like we have to remake this.
Yep.
I'm not sure what happened there. But yeah, just to finish that thought, when I was playing against Zhao, I was basically doing the Chuden as a defensive tactic against any kind of proxies. Because even with one workshop, which I was also considering, I just felt a little safer knowing what's going on because I can always scout and know exactly what's happening on the map with one workshop.
I'm just looking at my stream chat here, and people are apparently upset about my light-themed Discord.
always a controversial thing there.
Mm-hmm. So in the top left today, we do have Prankster Gangster for OPCATA, and in the bottom right, we have Renus, a mech player, for Drunken Friends.
Yeah.
And both players are actually here this game.
That's always good to know.
He has 2 castles, he says. This is going to be interesting. So
yeah, I don't know what that means, but if there's some kind of game bug, then we could probably refresh and remake.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest that he refreshes his game.
Yeah, I'm gonna refresh. I think everyone can refresh real quick.
Now I just need the game to actually open. There we go.
While we wait here, we can quickly touch on standings here. This match, both of these teams lost their first match in match day 1, so this is kind of a loser's round of the tournament here. Whoever loses will go to 2 losses in a row, and whoever wins will be tied 1-1. Yesterday, for those of you who didn't catch the matches, we had Team Destroy Call beat Team Latin Block, which is pretty cool, 3-1. And then we had Team YOLO defeat Nerf Raiders. I believe so, right? Yeah. 3-1 as well. So we had no ace matches yesterday. We'll see if this match ends up going to an ace. I think this match actually has the potential to go to an ace because, as I said, I'm sort of expecting a 1-1 after this map, with Rhinus probably favored. And then of the last 2, I could easily see those 2 maps getting split. I don't think either team has a decisive advantage on either of those maps, so I would expect probably a 2-2 going into a final ace match. That'd be just my prediction for the moment. We have Rhinus versus Hobo. We need to switch out the players real quick.
Oh, yep. Sorry about that.
Unless you want to be a ringer, Hobo. I mean...
Well, take out for Prankster?
Hobo, by the way, with 100% win ratio in Little War Game Pro League. Just throwing that out there.
Yep.
All right, can you introduce the players for us, Hobo?
Sure.
For the 3rd time?
Of course. So, in the top left for OPCATA, we have Prankster Gangster playing with the red Santa wearing present dudes over here. Just getting real close to them. Anyways, in the bottom right, we have Renus, also with the Santa Elves. He is playing for Drunken Friends and is also their ace player.
Yeah.
So we do have a house first coming from Prankster Gangster. And I'm expecting...
So,
go ahead.
I was just going to talk a little bit about prep from Prankster. Him and I played several games. My suggestion was the Proxy Rax Raider. However, we had mixed success with that, so he may be going back to, well, looks like he is throwing down a Rax here, so he might be going for that 2 Rax play.
And the second worker is moving, so it does look like that could be the case. I'm not sure how I like his wall, but if he is going for proxy, it would make sense.
Yeah, and it generally doesn't matter tremendously. I kind of like having the second Rax a little bit farther on, but in general, really kind of whatever way you play this 2 Rax Raider, it kind of comes down to a similar thing. So it is going to be a 2 Rax versus a 1 Workshop, which is kind of what we practiced. At the end of the day, I would say his win ratio wasn't great with this build order against me. But perhaps if Rhinus is not expecting it, oftentimes that mental thing actually makes a difference of like whether you're expecting it or not. Can kind of change how you defend it. And there's also uncertainty about whether it's a 2 Rax or not. So we'll see how Rhinus deals with this. If you remember last week, Dragon Archer Z actually beat me with his exact setup, Ravage 2 Rax against 1 Workshop. So we'll see how Rhinus handles this play.
I think it would have been interesting if Rhinus had gone for a 2 mil approach. That would shut down almost anything Prankster would probably have prepared for. But I think he wants to
Well,
play a safer build against him.
yeah, 2 mil is a risky build, especially if it's on map. Then you can really run into some problems, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we kind of were pretty much 100% sure that Rhinus would play the one workshop because I think
Historically,
Rhinus
he's
would consider
almost
himself
always
the
done
better
that.
player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think when you consider yourself the better player, you play that solid, safe opening, kind of with kind of the good expectation that you can probably win this game. So anyway, we have the first raider coming out. We have about second and third raider already about to pop out.
Pretty standard placements
Rhinus,
of that castle as well.
yeah.
Ooh,
miss micro there from Rhinus. He's gonna have to, I think, leave the raider in the main base. Perhaps. I kind of like what he's doing here. For a second, I thought he was just gonna leave it there. I really wish he was.
I was gonna say, I think it would be best to focus down the Gatling gun.
He needs to he's a little bit too impatient with this raider. He needs to wait until his other raiders get there.
And he's not killing the worker down there. And the first raider does go down.
Yeah.
And now the second Gatling gun is going to come out, and he has a raider just chilling outside of the base.
Yeah, it's already looking really good for Rhinus, I would say. He has his second Gat out. He has plenty of workers in position. It's going to be pretty tough, I would say, for...
And he's not preparing for this mill either.
Yeah, you basically have to beat the mech player before the mill finishes and you get a gyro out. Because if this doesn't... Usually, you keep the first raider alive for a lot longer, and then once you have 3 raiders, you can actually queue jump onto the Gatlings, and once you start killing the Gatlings, you cause a lot of problems for the mech player. But Rhinus is handling this really well.
Mm-hmm. Even with the lost mining time, his income is still comparable to Prankster, and he does have the castle up. Even if he's not mined from it, he's no longer supply blocked. And that's a very scary thing to push your 4 raiders into.
Yep.
After the 4th Gatling gun, it's going to be almost impossible for the raiders to really do anything.
Now, if he Q jumps on top of a Gat, he can probably get 1 Gat down. And he has 2 Q jumps, so I don't know if he'll do that. Because I don't think, he tries to go for 1 jump, but he doesn't really get it off.
Mm-hmm. And now there's the 3rd done.
Now, one thing to note is these workers have been really off mining for a long time, so Rhinus has not been mining as much as Prankster has for the last couple minutes. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if that'll matter too much, but it's something to keep note of.
Prankster is about to catch up for mined golds, but he's still off by a bit, and the 4th Gatling gun is about to finish.
The problem is he doesn't really have a good defense against the Gatling, right? Or the gyro.
The gyro, which the first gyro is also about to come out.
Yeah.
4 Gatling guns and the gyro are now on the field. With no archers or counter for Prankster yet.
I think Prankster actually probably needs to get an advanced workshop, maybe, but I don't think he's going to do that, so I think he's in big trouble.
He's also not expanding behind this, but it does look like he's saving up for the expansion.
Yeah, he's getting a tower in his main to defend the Gatling. I don't like the way that Prankster also builds the houses back here, because I think those will, if
it's very
Rhinus scouts those.
Especially with catapults. But
I wouldn't mind him running to the main here and trying to get a couple workers. I think he could probably get 2 to 3 workers here. Yeah, exactly. With this many raiders, I mean, you can get a lot of workers down really quickly. And he does jump in and he does go for it.
Needs to jump again with some of those.
Yeah, a couple low health workers, but only 2 or maybe 2 go down here.
The first worker does go down for Venus.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for him to get out with these raiders.
In exchange for 2 whole raiders.
Yeah.
Prankster is currently sitting on 360 gold. Venus is also supply blocked with no house on the way.
He does get 1 Gatling down, and maybe a couple more workers if he micros it.
That's 2 workers. 2 workers and a Gatling gun in exchange for 7 raiders.
Yeah, rough.
And he only is now getting the expansion with no way of defending it. Not even an archer on the way. So when that gyro gets up there, there's not going to be any kind of defense.
Exactly. We'll see how Rhinus decides to take this, whether he's going to push out with these Gats, which would be the correct play, or if he plays passively. Either way, he's really, really far ahead, so I'm not sure it matters. But it looks like he's pushing out.
In terms of worker count, economy, and army.
Yeah.
He's first going to try to scout out that proxy location. It's going to be interesting to see if he spots it. And it looks like he's going to just barely miss it. unless he... It would be very dangerous if he found the houses too.
Yeah, I don't think he'll find the houses. He wouldn't really expect those to be there. But he really needs a tower at his expansion for sure.
He should have switched to archers a little bit sooner.
Possibly, although there's really not a lot he can do in this situation.
It's a losing position at current.
Yeah, for sure. I think the archer at his barracks might be a little ambitious. We'll see if this archer gets home in time. But he definitely needs a tower at his expansion to hold against the Gatlings. We'll see if he can actually get that done. Third base coming down for Renus already.
Because he can afford it safely.
Really nice control for Renus there, picking up, getting that Gatling out without losing it. One more hit from an archer would have killed it.
Rhinus is still not pushing out with his Gatling guns, choosing to macro up behind this. The pop is very hard to see for Prankster because his name's so long, but it looks like it's 25 to 50.
Yeah, he's only got 13 workers right now against 21, so he's way, way, way behind in economy here.
And he's also down a castle now. And it does
Rhinus
look
could
like
definitely have walked
the
across the map. Yeah, Rhinus could definitely walk across the map with these Gatlings. I'm not sure why he's not doing that. Probably he's just a little wanting to be safe because it is such an official match. But really, he should have known there's almost no danger of losing at this point.
Especially after killing 8 raiders.
Yeah, exactly. The units lost is just ridiculous. It's 1,000 gold lost to less than 200 for Renus.
I think a lot of that boiled down to losing that first raider by being a little bit too impatient and not waiting for that backup.
Yeah, exactly. Because once 3 raiders with decent health run in, that's when things get very, very dicey.
Because you lose the first Gatling gun, then you lose the second one, and then it's skyrocket, or it snowballs.
Because I think Rhinus' defense was actually a little suspect at first. I think he needed to pull more workers for the first raider.
But after he got the second Gatling gun out, that's when it really started to go in his favor.
Right, right.
And it does look like this raider is about to get killed.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, me and Prankster really didn't get as much practice as I wanted on this build. I thought this was still his best chance of winning the game, so this is why we just decided to go for it. But yeah, he didn't have a whole lot of success with it when he was playing against me either, so I wasn't particularly hopeful, if we're being honest, on this map. I will say that, like, technically, I think the way Renus is playing is actually kind of incorrect. He's kind of allowing Prankster a lot of space. I don't think it'll matter, but it's a little questionable from the way Renus is playing here because he's not even saturating his third correctly, and he's allowing Prankster to take a third himself. So theoretically, if this game goes super long, it's possible that Prankster could sort of get an equalizing game. Particularly if he catches a drop really well. We do have +1 attack done for no, actually, excuse me, it's not done. It's on the way. But so this drop is going to be the next really important point. By the way, it looks like Renus has captured the houses on the left here. So that's going to go down. So it looks like Hobo's AFK for a second. Unfortunately, that means we'll have a little bit of radio cast. You guys probably aren't able to see exactly what's going on, but just so you know, both these houses for Prankster have been found and destroyed by Renus on the left here. Meanwhile, Prankster is at 21 workers to 35, but both players now have 3 bases. Catapult's coming into the tower, but is running right into tower and archer, so it's going to get shut down really, really fast without probably doing almost any damage. The dropship is low health, and the dropship does get picked off. 1 catapult drops, but it does get picked off very quickly by the archers. Absolutely no damage done by Renus here, which is kind of what I was saying before of like...
Meanwhile, Prankster is losing a lot of units to this tower. This tower now has 2 kills. And
yeah, good repair from Renus here. Otherwise, this tower would have gone down. Not really sure what Prankster's doing with these archers. He needs to be super careful.
And the tower does not go down.
Exactly. Bit of a macro mistake from Prankster. He's a bit supply blocked here.
I do think Renus should have pushed at that point, though. He had his units along that side part. pushing at that point could have been very deadly. Also,
I mean,
massive
Renus,
supply block going for Prankster here.
yeah, I think the house that he was making got delayed by the drop because he pulled his workers and that kind of supply blocked him. I mean, Renus is doubling supply here, so like he really there should be nothing, no chance to lose at this point. He's just kind of really delaying the game, I feel like. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Renus is doing an excellent job scouting to see if there's that fourth castle. I think he's over defending that expansion down there.
Yeah. He's playing this as if it's an even game, which is fine because he's still going to win, right? He's not really doing anything wrong. It's just he doesn't have to play this way. He could just walk across the map and win. Now, the church is an interesting choice. Now, obviously, with dropships, it's pretty easy for Renus to end towers. It's pretty easy for Renus to secure detection. But it's possible that, like, maybe he gets 3 priests and a lot of raiders. He could, like, gain some minor equalization with a lot of invisible units, just kind of as a surprise tactic. Because he needs something very surprising in order to have any chance here.
Meanwhile, this push looks like it will be very deadly. I don't know if Prankster noticed the airship that he walked right underneath with the raider. But
right, with the airship coming into the third.
Depending on how Prankster responds to this, it could end the game right here with this push. Pulling 4 workers to help with the repair.
Yep. Good micro there. Didn't lose anything again.
Airship about to go down if it gets a few more hits. And the catapult does go down.
Looks like he does escape with the airship, which is nice. Only loses 1 catapult, so that's pretty fine. Meanwhile, this push is coming in towards the 4th base, and I don't think there's any way that Prankster defends this amount of catapult.
I think it would be better to push into the main at this point, and he's actually going to be super cautious with his approach, going for more of a siege style.
Yep. But once he sees the amount of units he's up against, he should be able to walk in just with his gats and kill all of this really, really easily.
Just as a note for the placement of those towers, I think it would be better to put them fully around the tree, so as to block any kind of walking by. I don't know if it is fully blocked.
It looks like a unit can walk between the tree and the tower, and I do agree with you. I actually like doing this just so my mech units don't be as derpy, because once you fully block, mech units won't try to path through. But the way these kind of small blockings
where there's a one-tile gap, it can mess with, especially the Gatling guns.
Exactly, because they think they can walk through, they can't, so they get blocked, and it's just bad. But there's just too many mech units here. This is just terrible for Prankster. He is dead as a doorknob.
It's 69 population versus 134.
Yeah.
Well, 65, they ruined the magic number. Meanwhile, drops are going down in the main base, getting ready to attack either the natural or the main. Did you notice the drop off to the right side?
Oh, yeah. Again, Prankster really on top of things didn't actually lose that many workers to drops, which is pretty impressive, honestly, with the amount of stuff going on.
But now he has groups of workers randomly throughout everywhere. He has almost no one mining.
Yeah, exactly. He's getting everyone back to work now.
And the castle does go down. It's just going to be a slow push at this point. Airship just floating over.
Yeah, there's just too much mech units at this point. It's 4 base against 3.
60 population versus 140. Over double the population. We also have +1/+1 for the mech player. And prepare to be extra cautious. I think a lot of this went down to that early raider loss. If Prankster could practice and work on that raider micro a bit more, I think it would have helped Miles. And GG is called.
Alright, G to the G. So our next match is supposed to be SQL versus Dubina. Unfortunately, once again, it looks like SQL may not be here.
In which case, do we have a stand-in, or is the match gonna be possible forfeit?
Yeah, good question. I will see if anyone wants to stand in. because last week we had Prankster play twice. I don't know. I don't see if I recognize anyone who absolutely wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I've been trying to message in Discord with SQL. He really just hasn't been responding. Even though like technically he's online.
Mm-hmm.
He just hasn't responded to me at all. So I think he's probably not going to be playing again, which is kind of sucky because he's a pretty good player and I was excited to see him play.
Mm-hmm. Well, while we give it a little bit of time trying to find another player, what are your thoughts on the tournament week 2 so far?
Good games. I think Team YOLO and Team Destroy Call really showed they're kind of a step above at the moment.
They're going to be playing
Invictus.
each other in the next game, or in the next week.
Who's that?
Team
Destroy
YOLO
Call and
will be
YOLO?
playing Team Destroy Call next week.
Yeah, that could be really exciting.
Prankster wondering if he has to play again.
I don't think Invictus is here unless I'm missing his name in the in-game.
So we need someone for the tournament to go onto one of their alts and join. No.
I think we'll have.
I think the thing that would make the most sense is the lowest seeded player in your team to take the place.
Yeah, that is true. I may have to have Prankster play a second map here. Yeah, I don't see anybody else around who would be able to sub. Yeah, kind of unfortunate. Let's see, what's our map order? This is the third map, right? So yeah, we can't. I don't really want to have Hero of Ages play because I feel like the way I've been trying to do it is keeping the fourth map kind of set.
The next one is going to be. It's the third game, so it should be someone versus Dubna on Silent Fjord.
Yes. Yeah. So we can. Yeah, we can. We'll do that.
I can host it. What would be the most surprising match from yesterday for you? Also, do we want to do a coin toss to see who gets what color?
Yeah, I'll do that. 1 second. Or actually, you want to do it on stream? I just do a random number generator. I just Google it. So if you do it on stream, then everyone can see it and know it's thinly balanced, no advantage.
Okay, since you're the team captain for your side, do you want to call red or blue for which numbers?
I usually just do you pick heads or tails and then you get to pick if you win or lose. I think let's say we'll take heads.
Heads? Which one would heads be, 1 or 2?
Oh, 1.
Okay, we have 2.
Okay. I think on this map you want blue because oh wait, hold on. I don't remember which map is good.
I think you're thinking.
Oh no, I think red. I think red is the better spawn.
I think so too. Based off how the thing works.
Whoa, are we starting?
Oh, did I start too soon?
That's fine. I don't know if either player was ready.
Okay.
But it's good, it's good.
Looks like
Want to
they're
introduce the players for us?
Sure thing. In the bottom left for Team OPCATA, once again, we have Prankster Gangster, who just got out of a match with Rhinus. In the top right, for Drunken Friends, we have Dubina with the Ginger Workers. They're playing on Silent Fjord.
Yep. So Prankster has been putting a lot of work in. Whoa.
Interesting move there. Twice.
Hopefully no nerves getting to him right here. A little bit of a miss micro, put him behind.
Okay. Bizarre. So we do have a quick house coming out of Dubna. Your thoughts on restarting the match out of curiosity? Yep.
Okay.
So Prankster just needs to... Prankster's gonna try on his ult to see if the issue is still there. But yeah, this is a map I've seen quite a bit of in the past 2 weeks. Always fun.
Yep, so Sylvan or Silent Junction, one of the most played maps we have in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just talking with this talking about this map. I'll rehost it real quickly here.
Just a moment while I try to get the game to load again. There we go. He's going to be using his ults because his primary one's not working. For next week, I do think we should try to get some kind of formal system in place for stand-ins if players are absent or can't play.
Yeah, I'll work on that.
Because especially where if a team's planning on playing against someone, and all of a sudden, oh wait, they're not playing that person, it's not entirely fair in some regards. So, once again, we have Prankster Gangster in the top right. He is playing for OPCATA. And in the bottom left, we have Dubina, now playing as the red, suiting with the hair color of his little dudes. And he is playing for Drunken Friends. Prankster is currently using his alt account as he did have some technical difficulty with his mouse. And it looks like Dubina is going for a house. Prankster is also going for a house.
Yeah. Both these players are beast players, so I kind of am expecting possibly some castle first here, and possibly just some macro beast versus beast coming out. Looking at the cues from Prankster, he might be going for that castle first.
Lining them up now, and sure enough, he's pulling away, so it does look that way.
Meanwhile, Dabina is going for the 1 den. Let's see if he adds the second den on for a 2 den.
We'll see in a moment.
Looks like it is going to be 2 den.
2 den opening, sure enough.
Now, this is very interesting. Technically, I think 2 den is holdable with castle first, for sure.
Hold on, the worker is not making a second den yet. Okay, there it is.
This is a little bit late. So this is holdable, but as you saw with Zhao, I think you really have to know what you're doing in order to hold it. I think your SimCity has to be on point, and you need a tower.
There's a couple of things that are different between this match and the one with Zhao, though. Zhao didn't even build a house first. He just went straight from 9 workers to stopping 10 workers, stop worker production, then get the expansion. So
yeah, I believe that makes your den a little bit later, but I think it's like ever so slightly better for eco. But I generally don't play that way just because I do find it makes your den way too late.
You also have
this is still pretty rough,
a couple less workers.
I mean, the first wolf is running across the map as the first den goes down, so we're gonna have Prankster's gonna have to really micro well with his workers in order to defend this 2 den.
I do think from the micro aspect that Dubna has an advantage. But workers will need to be pulled, unless he does a full wall.
I don't think he will because he doesn't know what's happening, so he's just going to go for standard play. I'd love for him to throw the tower down instead of the den now, but I think he saw the wolf too late, or he might think it's a 1. He doesn't know if it's a 1 den or a 2 den. 3 workers are going to be coming down. One of the hard things about this is you need to finish the castle in order to get that supply. So it looks like he's switching to finish the castle, but he needs to finish the den. Oh, he's not building the den. He needs to get the den.
I would say that's a mistake on his end.
Oh, I'd love to see a tower, man. He needs a tower.
And he's not going back to continue working in the den. He has an idle worker.
Yeah, this is going disastrous for Prankster. I think he's in deep, deep trouble.
About to lose 1 worker, about to lose a second worker.
No tower and no wolf.
A third one in red HP. And 1 worker does die. No tower.
Tower. Oh, it's too late, I think. I think it's over. I think it's too late.
There's 6 wolves in the base now. He didn't take the threat as seriously as he needed to. The first wolf is coming out. He does have wolves on the way. But it's 9 wolves on the field right now to 1. And still no tower.
Yeah, he has to fight with wolves and workers. I feel like Dabina is giving him some time. He's not really hard engaging. Now he's hard engaging. A couple workers are going to definitely go down here. We do have 3 wolves now on the field for Prankster. 1 wolf about to die, though.
No more wolves being made. There's a pause of production there.
From Dabina? Yeah, it's castle already coming down from Dabina.
And he does catch a wolf. Still no tower. We do have a snake charm coming out from Prankster, but I don't think that's the right play here. With difficulty, Prankster is defending this, but it's going to be extremely costly for the rest of the game. And now there's just too many high health wolves in there.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate here. I don't think Prankster really knew what he needs to do to defend against this build, so he wasn't really prepared with his response is all. He kind of was floundering a bit.
He went for a greedy build against an aggressive build, but he could have defended. It just would require a slightly different approach.
Now, he actually can still defend if he pulls back with his wolves and brings a couple more workers. If you look at the numbers, it's still 12 workers to 12, and he's only down a couple of wolves. So I think he can actually defend if he just keeps pumping wolves out and stays calm here.
The big issue here is Dubna's up almost 400 gold lost.
Yeah, true. And he's Dubna is definitely showing better wolf control here, I would say. Prankster's attacking his own worker for a second. That's unfortunate.
It's currently 7 workers and 6 wolves lost to 5 wolves.
Yeah. Good catch there from Prankster. He does get a wolf caught on the edge of a castle.
He's got 2 extremely low health wolves.
Yeah.
It's a very brutal struggle from both players here.
It looks like just barely maybe Prankster can kind of stabilize. He needs a couple more workers in his main to fight with this, to be honest. He does have snake tech out, by the way.
I think snakes are a mistake in this case. He doesn't have enough of a meat shield.
Well, you use workers to meat shield in this type of situation. Snakes are actually a pretty strong defensive tool. You can see the way he's positioning it next to the wolf there. That actually makes it pretty tough for these wolves from Dubina to push in, because if the wolf has to fight a snake and a wolf in hold position, the wolf can't really do anything there. So I like the SimCity from Prankster, even though he has to be careful he doesn't let it work against him.
And he's getting 3 wolves on a single wolf in that second place there.
Yeah.
We do see an
Even
airship coming out for him, Dumbledore.
Yeah.
And finally a tower. But once again, it's 1,000 gold lost to about 600 gold lost.
Yeah, massive advantage for Dubina, although the game is still playable. Slightly less of an advantage, I would say, than the last game.
Previous one.
Yeah, like Renus really had a massive advantage. At this game, like, it's a 1 worker advantage. Now, we do have gold lost, but, you know, the tech is fairly even. There's no, like, massive advantages for our Red Beast player. It's just kind of an army advantage at the moment. Prankster's also had bad rally here, so he's letting units kind of float to the outside of his base, which means they just get picked off one by one.
And the tower is finally done, but that wolf does look like he's going to get singled out.
Yeah. In general, I think this is kind of one of the weaknesses in Prankster's play, is he's very sloppy with his unit control. He tends to just let units wander around and die a lot. But he is keeping his macro. His macro has definitely improved over the last couple of weeks. You can see his macro's been pretty much on point, although he does have a rough supply block at 40.
Meanwhile, third base is about to come out from Dupna, as well as drops. Potentially doing a wolf drop in the main base. Meanwhile, coming around the wall, if Prankster doesn't respond and block off that top path, that could be very deadly.
Yeah. But now it's fine because he has a tower.
Excellent job blocking the path with the wolf. And now fighting just barely in range of the tower. Does put him in the advantage.
Exactly.
But this beast drop is about to come into the main base. Currently empty, though.
I think overall the army from Prankster probably should hold this. Unfortunately, Prankster's floating a lot here. He's at 400 gold, which is pretty unfortunate. He might try to take a third base here or get upgrades or something.
I think this was a mistake to reveal the airship before it had units in it.
Well, it is causing massive mining time. Prankster is like really panicking here, moving all his workers. I don't exactly know why, because nothing has dropped out yet. He might be thinking like catapults or something weird. Now it looks like Prankster is going to capture, get his third base out, which is nice, because that timing is actually pretty clean versus up against Dubina's.
Close to dubs. Yep.
Yeah. So actually, all things considered, this game is surprisingly even. I feel like I'm not sure where Dubina went wrong exactly, because I feel like he should be farther ahead than he is.
I think he was a bit too aggressive and wasn't getting that third castle up soon enough.
Yeah, once again, you can see this kind of disorganization from Prankster's army, like wolves kind of just wandering around fighting singularly when they should be all together. But even so, I think this is going to be a fairly even trade, because wolf snake against pure snake, you can actually chase and defend. Prankster does have 4 den, so if he macros all these den, he should be able to equalize his army pretty cleanly.
And the tower is going up at the third. The big thing for Prankster is he doesn't know what his opponent's doing. For all he knows, his opponent has a Dragon Slayer already. Also, there is a animal testing lab that is not being worked on in Dublin's base right now.
Yeah. Tower's almost down. Unfortunately, the snakes are now going to start shooting this airship, which makes it really hard to win these type of beast versus beast engagements. Tower's about 2/3 done, so it'll finish in just a couple seconds here.
As soon as it's
finished,
like Dubna's going to have to pull out.
Well, he can actually right-click it down with the snakes. I'm surprised he's not doing that now. It looks like he's going for the worker, and he just barely gets the worker.
Pulls it off. Impressively done.
Yeah, the numbers were pretty close there, but again, I think Prankster was just a little disorganized, and I think if he had kept all his units together and stayed calm, I think he defends easily. But somehow he was just too disorganized.
Dubna's getting ready for a drop into the main base. I don't see why Dubna would be getting the ballista ahead of scouting.
Yeah, that's just preemptive. Obviously, he should know there's no dragons out, but maybe it's just kind of an autopilot build order thing that he always gets. But either way, Dubina now has a massive advantage. He's stopping the third base. He has his own third base mining.
And he's getting a lot of freeness as they stream in to try to defend the third.
Yeah. It's a really clean play from Dubina to take this win.
And I also think, still no mining from the main.
Yeah.
This airship could go down, though.
Yeah, so this is probably going to put Drunk Friends up 2-1 in the series, and it's all going to be down to that final map on Sylvan Charm, most likely. Hero of Ages versus Works. Meanwhile, yeah. Kind of a mistake from Dubina not to get upgrades here. He really should have +1 or +2 coming at this point to kind of solidify the win. Because as it is, Prankster can still solidify with this 4-done production. He should eventually clean up this push from Dubina. He's got the superior snake count at the moment. So if he can just deal with the wolves, he should clean this up.
That animal testing lab still has no additional progress made on it. We do see werewolves and dragons about to come out for Dubna, though.
Yeah, both these techs are really, really strong.
The fourth castle has been started by Dubna and has just finished up.
Yeah, he can just keep up this pressure. This pressure's almost over because there's not a lot of reinforcements coming across the map. But it doesn't really matter because, yeah, the fourth base in position, the third been mining all this time. Look at the income tab. It's crazily advantageous for... oh, this is risky. He almost loses the dropship.
2,000 gold ahead for Dubna.
Exactly, yeah. Massive, massive advantage for our red beast player. He's even taking a fifth base here. And let's see, no dragon layers down yet, but obviously the werewolves are already a massive tech advantage.
He's getting an additional really, 3 dens.
Yeah.
He's actually behind in supply. It looks like. Or no, he's ahead of the supply.
But yeah, but not too far ahead. Mainly because he's built a lot of workers and he's going for all that tech.
Yep, 44 workers versus 26.
Yeah, so Prankster does stabilize, but he himself doesn't have much tech. I wonder if the only hope for Prankster is to actually shove, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's got 6 den production. I think if he shoves now at the 4th, it's possible he can maybe take out the 4th, just because Dubina doesn't actually have that much production at the moment.
But
I don't know if
he isn't scouting is the issue. He's
I don't think Prankster is going to be able to identify that. And even if he does that, I don't think he's going to be able to do that much.
And the first werewolf is on the way, as well as the first damage upgrade.
Exactly, yeah. Only a singular lair, so the dragon force won't be too huge, and we do have an advanced workshop as a potential counter from Prankster.
But even with 1, it forces Prankster to have to adapt to it, which could potentially cost more than what the dragon cost.
I feel like Prankster really loves his den a little too much. I don't think you need this many den.
Especially off 3 base.
Yeah, he's also not transferring his workers properly. A few too many in the main base.
Really safe play from Dubna with these expansions on the far right side.
Yeah, but it really is securing his game here. Once he gets a couple upgrades and just macros out an army, he can just walk across the map and win.
He's now up a decent amount of supply.
Yeah, massive, massive advantage for our red player here.
30 supply, but 20 of that's in workers is the thing to know.
Dubina has 2 Balliste dropship combos here against absolutely no dragons whatsoever from Prankster.
No dragons on the way.
Yeah. Wish Prankster had added some upgrades at some point, but none to speak of coming out.
Finally, a ballista coming out from him, though.
Now, he does mine out his main base, Prankster does, so hopefully he can fix those workers.
There is a unfortunate setback for Prankster here. He wasn't planning to play on this map. He wasn't planning for this opponent.
Yeah, I don't think he was practicing his beast versus beast as much as he probably could have. Do we have any dragons? We have 1 dragon on the map at the moment. But we do have a Balliste from Prankster, so... that actually is not the biggest, scariest thing. Really, the werewolf, snake, mass snake wolf is the main problem for Prankster at the moment. Now, the supplies are actually a little deceptive because Dubina has almost 30 supply more in workers compared to Prankster. So the armies actually are surprisingly equal in size, especially when you take into account. Yeah.
We have +1 damage for the red player, as well as dragons and werewolves.
Yeah, exactly.
Not to mention airships, which are taking up some of the supply as well.
Prankster has been supply blocked at 100 for so long here. He could have actually had much more Wolf Snake, considering his den counts. But he really hasn't been macroing. He's at 500 gold floating at the moment.
These workers are going to walk into the werewolves and just get melted.
Yeah. Snake's prioritizing the dropships. A little unfortunate because they don't do that much damage. A little counterattack from Prankster here, hitting the 4th of Dubina. I like this. This is nice. Again, Prankster does have the money.
I'm not sure what Dubna is doing with those workers on the far left side.
I think he's going to be expanding in a second. Now the 4th base is under massive attack. And maybe this tower can actually defend a little bit these werewolves if Prankster can get his Wolf Snake to kill these werewolves off.
The 3rd base is losing its tower for Prankster.
Oof, yeah. These werewolves are so strong right now. I think the only way to deal with werewolves is really highly upgraded snakes. But there's no upgrades here for Prankster, so his snakes are really not able to deal with the
2 testing labs getting sniped by Prankster down here in the bottom right. And this
the problem is these amount of towers are going to make it hard. He might actually be able to click down the castle from out of range. But we'll see how he chooses to
Prankster's
engage.
4th is falling apart. The werewolves are just too tanky.
Yeah, his army is also not moving. I think if this army gets in here, maybe he can take down these.
The 3rd base has been denied as well from single werewolf aggression, with even more units just chilling outside of the base.
Yeah. I wish Prankster had taken the time to kill the 4th. Instead,
he is trying to attack this expansion. He's fighting right into the towers with workers defending. The upgrades are now in a 2 attack advantage for Dubina.
Yes. And these towers have finally cleaned up the push.
There is a counter airship for Prankster, but it's not going to do quite enough. The base is still in a lot of danger.
Yeah, no mining at the 3rd. Just no money left for Prankster Gangster at the moment. And
all of his workers are on a single base and his gang surrounded.
Yeah, 4 werewolves is just too much.
And the workers are going straight through a line of wolves and werewolves.
Yeah. Good game from Dubina overall. He played it pretty clean here. Was never really in danger of losing, I would say, this entire time.
He's kept his opponent on defensive.
Yeah. I must say that the 2-den build has really been kind of the build of the tournament. I feel like we've seen a lot of 2-dens during this couple weeks of tournament play. And overall, I thought the 2-den, I don't know if I've seen it lose. Been able to do pretty well for most players. I guess Thurks played a 2-den that didn't work out yesterday against the 1 rat from
wall.
Yeah, exactly. But like that was actually a bit of a throw from Thurks. I think that should have been a win, if we're honest, just because of the way Human built that wall. So yeah, right now we're just kind of waiting for Prankster to kind of give up.
I do have an interesting observation. Until this tournament, I wasn't seeing a lot of Beast play recently.
Yeah, I think it really is kind of a player-to-player thing. Interestingly, I think I know Dubina is always a Beast player. Players on my team, Hero of Ages and Prankster, both are pretty much only Beast players. I think one thing that was surprising to me was Daz playing Beast yesterday on Sylvan. I think that was probably because Sylvan is just such a good Beast map, but that was a little surprising to me.
Ooh, Glavas. Apparently we were pronouncing someone's name wrong. Oh, Dubina? Dubina? Yeah, people are finding out that I'm wonderful with pronunciation of names.
So that was a fun little game here. And let's get. We are moving on about an hour into this event here.
Mm-hmm. The final map is, unless it goes to an ace match, is going to be Sylvan Charm.
Absolutely, Sylvan Charm. Looks like it's already been posted. Oh wait, yeah, here we go.
Yep, I'm just taking a look at the score here.
So we'll take one again.
It's 1-2.
Run that. Yeah.
And I am pulling up the random number generator now. And it is 2. Okay. Just need to wait on Hero of Ages to move himself to the opposite corner. Hero is the host.
Did you run your number generator?
And it was 2.
Okay.
Just waiting on Hero to move himself. So again, it is 1-2 in favor of Drunk Friends at current. Depending on who wins this, it will change whether or not we have an ace match. If Works can get the win, then it's going to be 1-3 in favor of Drunk Friends. We're starting off with some lag. Okay. Everyone seems ready?
Alright, here we go.
In the bottom right, playing for Team OPCATA, we have Hero of Ages. And on the top left, we have Rooks playing for OPCATA. I think I got that backwards. So in the top left,
Rooks.
we have Rooks playing for Drunken Friends, and in the bottom right, we have Hero of Ages playing for OPCATA. That's
correct. Right. So this is a critical map for both teams. I think Drunk Friends would like to avoid that ace match. On paper, I feel pretty favored against all of their team. However, Hero of Ages needs to win this in order to get that ace match. So it's going to be up to. I think this is really a really critical match for both players for sure.
Already, it looks like Hero is going for a proxy.
Yeah. I have not been talking too much with Hero lately. I don't know what his plan is on this map. I do know he wasn't particularly confident to play Works straight up. So that may be why we have a bit of a proxy. I'm not sure if it's Den or Rax, or even Mills. I'm not sure. It looks like it's going to be Rax.
Okay. Rax, yep.
Yeah. Another build that's been a staple of our tournament has definitely been...
the proxy.
Yeah, the proxy Rax. Now we do have a Workshop from Works. Interesting. I didn't know Works plays Workshop at all. That's really interesting.
Usually I see him playing Mech.
Really? I always thought of him as a Beast player. Has he lately been playing Mech?
Beast, rather.
Oh yeah, okay, that's what I was thinking. Yeah. So I don't think. I think Hero is expecting a Castle First Beast opening from Works. I don't think he'll be expecting this one Workshop. Now, I would say in general this is good for Works. I like this build. However, he has to be very careful because I think as we saw last week, this is not necessarily a simple defense. You have to know what you're doing with your Gatlings. And
there's a secondary thing about this map especially, though, where you could actually have a single raider get ready in the frontier while you send the second one back here, teleport over the cliff, and then you surround that wall with that first Gatling gun.
Yeah, it's an I wonder if Hero has been practicing this.
It delays
and if he knows
the approach a bit, but it would do quite
well, that's actually
damage.
really clutch. If you hid that first raider once you jump and wait for 3 raiders, for example, Works might not expect it, and once you lose the first Gat, then you're really in trouble.
Because then there's that extra raider.
Yeah, But I don't know. I do also know that I haven't practiced it a lot myself, but I have a lot of trouble doing that jump myself.
I
So I
see
don't know
another
if
issue with
Hero has
Works here
practiced it.
too. He doesn't have a worker nearby, so that Gatling gun could very well go down.
If he attacks, then jumps and blocks, he might actually get the kill on it.
But
Jump now?
it's getting
Jump.
2
He's
hits.
not going to jump. I think if he had jumped, maybe he would have gotten it because he could have.
Instead, he got free hits off on the Raider without the Raider dealing damage back.
Right.
Instead,
Now,
waiting
once
for
again,
2.
though,
But
Brooks
if
doesn't
that,
know if this is. Brooks
and
doesn't
with
know
2
if this is a
Raiders,
proxy rack.
It looks like his defense will fall apart if he doesn't have that worker over here. This is something I noticed a couple months back. I used to do this kind of wall style all the time, but I found that the workers just couldn't defend against any kind of Raider attack.
Oh, the gap spawns on the wrong side. This is terrible for Brooks. Both gats are dead. There's nothing. There's no units left for our Drunk Friends player. More Raiders are streaming across the map, and now these workers are completely exposed. It'll be another like 15 seconds before a Gatling even comes out.
But
and there's no mining for Works, by the way. He's not mining any gold except one worker at the third expansion.
He needs to pull some of those Raiders out.
Yeah, he does. He does bring the low health Raider back.
The Gatling gun is about to come out, but it's costing so much mining time and so many units.
Right.
At this point, he could even start going to a little bit more macro. Especially because there's 3 workers mining for the mech player.
Now, if he sends all his Raiders and Q jumps in, I think he can actually kill this Gatling with his...
Even with 2 of them on it, I think they'd be able to take care of that.
Oh, if he micros it right.
He's hesitating too much. I feel like he was moving them too much and should have just been focusing a lot more on attack.
Yeah.
His second Gatling.
Now that there's 2 Gatlings, it's actually pretty close here for Brooks to maybe defend. But it's still a lot of Raiders here.
And none going in to try the expansion.
6 Raiders here. If he sneaks 1 Raider into the base, he can delay mining and run around a bit. I would like to see that. But even so, I think if he just commits all the way in, maybe he can.
And it looks like he's gonna get. He does get another Gatling gun, and it looks like he's gonna get another one.
I think this is over. I think Hero's done it. Oh yeah, he gets a full surround off. And now there's no defense again. These workers are all gonna die.
It's 9 to 27 in terms of pop. Just looking at the unit count here, 6 Raiders and 11 workers versus 7 workers. It's not looking very good. GG is called. And with that, it does go into the ace match.
Yeah, a good builder choice from Hero. I do see your point about that wall. Like it's supposed to be safe, but
that's one of the
in
things.
The end, it kind of isn't.
It's one of my turnoffs whenever I play mech. The early game you have to play so specifically, otherwise you risk it. You can't send a Gatling gun out, otherwise it dies to anything. And if you don't have a worker right by the first Gatling gun, with the ability to mineral walk to stop that Raider teleport, then you lose either the worker or you lose the Gatling gun. So it just makes a very predictable way of how to start and counter a mech player. So with that, it's going to go to the ace match. I take it you'll be playing for Team OPCATA?
Yes, that would be my plan, unless Hero really wanted to play. But yeah, I think I'm going to play. I'm going to be on the map as Xenos.
Well, while you guys figure out who's going to play, I'm going to just host the worlds. But again, I think that really came down to the wall that Works made. You have to have a very specific setup to defend against even a single raider. I also think it was interesting to look at the possibility of teleporting that other raider across the cliff. I kind of want to try that out at some point now. Are you guys still trying to figure out who's going to play as the ace? So it will be Renus versus Slammer?
All right, well, I'm going to hop down out of this casting.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the solo cast for this ace match, Hobo. Thanks for casting the whole tournament, by the way.
It's my pleasure. Been a fun experience so far. Just gonna start with a random number generator. And it is 1. I do have the Discord chat up off to the side. And we are starting. Just double checking to make sure Slimer is ready. My typing is wonderful. Slammer. However you pronounce that. Just waiting on him to say ready and we'll be able to go. Slimer's just talking to someone on Discord, letting them know what the sub rules are going to be for next week. So, 2 players that are extremely competent in mech. I do think that Slammer has the advantage here, though. A lot of people are excited for an ace match. And we are starting. Okay guys, for the ace match between OPCATA and Drunken Friends, we have the 2 team captains. In the bottom left, playing for Drunken Friends, we have Renus, the famous mech player from Russia. And in the top right, we've got Slammer, S4, playing for OPCATA. Both players do play mech, except we have seen Slammer play both Beast and Rax. And they are playing on Xenos, a map that does tend to favor mech play. Already we have a worker going down for both players to make houses, potentially. Sure enough, houses. And like we were just talking about on Sylvan Charm, it's going to be an extremely predictable mech opening where it's going to be the house, workshop, and then the castle where the worker has the ability to walk to either a gold mine on either side to avoid a blink from the raiders. Assuming they do go for mech play at least. Still remains to be seen. House is done for Slammer, and it looks like he's actually going for a proxy 2 Rax. That would be my guess at least. And we do have a den coming, or workshop coming up from Renus. And a workshop, it could be a double mill rush from Slammer. We're gonna have to just wait and see. First workshop is on its way. A little bit behind Renus's. It's gonna take just a little bit to see where this goes and how it's gonna play out. So Renus may see this worker and could potentially try to respond a number of different ways. Sending the second worker out is an interesting play. I'm not sure if he was also planning on doing mills. 2 workers on 1 is not something you want. The worker might be a ginger, but it is not all powerful. And blocking in the base with a wolf's den. It's going to stop transfer of workers, and it's going to force them to stop mining for a little bit. All in all, it's just going to be very good for Slammer, even if he has to pay attention to make sure he cancels that in time. And he does cancel it with 20 HP, but there's now the delayed mining time, potentially making up for the lost mining time of this worker now having to walk around, and now this worker also trying to search around for a proxy or where the worker had been. It does look like Renus is going to get the first Gatling gun out, but for reasons we already talked about, that Gatling gun will not be able to push out. And once again, we can see this kind of style where it is a simple wall where the worker can walk to either side without having to worry about a raider teleporting them, as Renus still has no idea what his opponent is going for. Meanwhile, as Slammer does know that it is playing a mech, he is safe to move out with his Gatling gun. Both players starting their house at about the same time, with Renus deciding to go for a mill instead of a second Gatling gun. Slammer applying some pressure on that worker, dealing some damage. Getting a couple of extra hits off on that Gatling gun. Meanwhile, workers are being transferred for Renus. Both players now have mills going out, so it looks like it's going to be a pretty similar game so far. It's now 2 Gatling guns on the single one, but Slammer is going to pull back. Renus's mill will come out first by maybe 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Renus is actually going for an extremely fast third base. It's going to be interesting to see how that works out. And Renus is also going to scout forward. It looks like potentially placing a... just watching, getting ready for any kind of attack. Meanwhile, he does have his first gyrocraft coming out. And potential gyrocraft from Slammer, still waiting on it. One issue I do see is this quick castle is a bit greedy. We're going to have to see how it plays out for him. And with only having a single Gatling gun, Renus is getting... still expanding. He is getting an advanced workshop. Meanwhile, Slammer is getting the speed on his Gatling guns, looking to potentially try to do a push. It does not look like the gyrocraft is going to see the Gatling guns, but also Slammer has yet to see the fourth. Getting quite a bit of worker harass done here, and we can see with only a single gyrocraft and a single Gatling gun, it's going to be very hard for Renus to defend this, especially as he has no other units in the way. He is now making one more Gatling gun, but it might not be enough. Just trying to find... And at the same time, Renus is poking Slammer's worker lines. It's costing Rhinus quite a bit of mining time, but he does have that third castle up. It's currently 6 workers lost to 1 worker lost, with 2 Gatlings lost versus 1. And it does look like Slammer's Gyrocraft does go down. No, Slammer's is the one that left. Slammer's Gyrocraft successfully killed off his opponent, despite being right in the middle of their base. We do have a Ballista coming out, which will completely deny this Gyrocraft's existence. Meanwhile, more workers are being picked off. It's now 18 workers to 22 in favor of Slammer, and more on the way. And with this, Slammer is going to see the expansion, see the fact that there's only 2 workers mining from it at the same time, though. It's currently a single Gatling gun and a single Ballista versus 2 Gatling guns, a catapult, and 2 Gyrocrafts. We do have an airship coming out from Renus with a second Gatling gun, but it's not quite enough. His super heavy greed with that extremely fast third looks like it will be costing him if he doesn't be careful. Slammer coming out with workers and putting down a forward tower. This catapult will be able to start dealing quite a bit of damage to the workers here. Renus has to play extremely careful here. Sure, he has that Ballista, but it's not going to be able to do too much if he isn't careful. He also does have the airship, but once again, the airship's not going to be able to do too much. They are approaching a similar number of units, but the third is up for Slammer. And currently with only 1 worker mining from the third base here, and it's not looking too great for Renus right now. It's currently a difference of 300 gold per minute, with losses in favor of Slammer as well as total gold mined and income by minute. Slammer applying some pressure here, damaging both the house and the workshop. Both players now having catapults to do harassment. This airship is taking unnecessary damage, potentially going down. It's now low on health. Even if it does get repaired, it's going to distract the workers from repairing the military units. We also do have a splash upgrade coming out for Rhinus. I don't think that's a very good decision. He should definitely do something about being supply blocked instead. Meanwhile, Gatling gun is going down for both players, and it looks like both of Slammers are down now. And it looks like Rhinus's catapult is also getting quite low, but we have 2 workers here. We have idle workers for Rhinus not doing anything. It's just very much in favor of Slammer at this point, up by 12 whole workers, having a tower in the middle of Renus's base. He is starting to fall a little bit behind in terms of actual military, but with the massive economy lead, it's gonna work out for him. He's up by 300 gold lost and almost over 1,000 gold mines. The catapult does go down, and it does look like a second catapult's in the process of going down, as well as his house. And it looks like the airship does go down. Unfortunately for Slammer, it was empty, but it's still free unit kill. Both players trying to damage the catapults, and a catapult does go down for Slammer. It's again 17 workers to 34. If Slammer can get that house down, it would be huge. It would bring Renus that much closer to being supply blocked, but he doesn't have the production to even worry about the supply at the moment. And with this repair, it's causing Slammer's Gyrocraft to still survive, despite getting attacked from a Ballista. Continuing aggression over here. Catapults getting damaged every which way. We got some nice catapult drops coming out from Renus with excellent airship control, but at this point he is just getting very far behind. he does manage to keep both alive, dropping them only long enough to shoot. Except this airship could go down depending on how close he gets to the tower. One shot from this airship could take down the catapults, barely keeping them alive still, both on critical health. Both still able to survive. Meanwhile, Slammer is starting to get a fourth. We're just going to look at production here. We do have upgrades coming out from Slammer as well. And again, it's almost a 40 pop lead, 50 pop lead, 11 minutes into the game. Renus's only workshop is also about to go down. Meanwhile, there's gyrocrafts just hanging out in the middle of Renus's main base. There's also a tower at his third castle's about to fall. This is not looking good for Renus, not at all. Looks like he might finally kill the tower, but at what cost? He's down to 5 workers to 40 at 11.5 minutes in the game. His third castle has died, and it looks like GG has been called at 11:30. And that was the ace match for today's teams, putting it 3-2 in favor of OPCATA, with Slammer cinching the win. And with that, that was an interesting one. That concludes the games for today's tournament match. Just a moment here, guys. Hello.
5 people plus 6 or 8 computers. What's up, Hobo?
Hi. I thought that was very well played by you. Just gonna make sure.
Yeah, it was nice to get a solid macro game in. I feel like out of all the games I played this tournament, they've all been pretty short and annoying. But that one went pretty well. I think Arenas just cut Gats to make really fast FE. And when I pushed with 4 Gats, he didn't have anything left. So after that, I just kind of continued the pressure because I could see that he was pretty far behind.
I'm just gonna quickly go over to the Reddit and post the past 2 weeks' replays on a thread.
That's cool.
That way everyone has access to the replays, instead of just Team DC. So what are your final thoughts on today with your team's performance and your opponent's team?
Yeah, it kind of went down sort of how I expected, to be honest. I think the only match that I wasn't so sure about was the Hero of Ages versus Rourke's game. I thought that was probably the most dangerous moment for us. And then versus Renus, I feel like I probably win close to 80% of the games we play against each other. So I felt pretty good about that map. Sometimes he does catch me off guard, which is why I think you noticed I worker scouted, because I was a little concerned about like double mill. But I felt pretty safe about the opening in general. So
it doesn't look like I can attach the .zip file, so I can post it on Discord though.
If you drop it in the tournament chat and the main Little War Game chat, actually, is there I guess there's no replay channel in the main Little War Game. Maybe we can talk to, I don't know who's in charge of the Discord, but it'd be cool to have that.
Someone could potentially put it on the, I don't know if it would be something to put on the content notice board. But that would be an interesting place to put it. That way, not a lot of posts go there. People would be able to see it and get it pretty easily. I can just find the .zip of the previous one.
But yeah, if you'd like, you can hop over. I'm gonna update the challenge page and the stats page right now.
Okay.
And then I'll post those once again in the chat, like I've been doing every week, just so people have access to it. So, looking at the matches here.
And you are posting on the challenge?
So I'm setting the map scores on the challenge, so it's recorded, and then I'm also going to go. Yeah. So really quickly, the standings are YOLO.
Oh, I accidentally just hopped out of Discord.
And Nerf Raiders both have 2 losses. As far as map wins, OPCATA, actually, we have 5 map wins. Latin Block has 4. The other 2 teams both have 6. And then Drunk Friends has 4 and Nerf Raiders has 1. So I feel like that's a pretty even look at even like what the power rank probably would be here with these teams.
Would you be able to just send me the link to the challenge one more time?
Yeah. I'll drop that in the general little war game chat.
Sweet.
On Discord.
For everyone watching, I did just post all the games from the past 2 weeks. Playing the challenge now. For anyone who wants to see it.
I also have the. I have a Google Doc sheet that I've been making as well, so I'm going to update that so you can see kind of the stats of the teams. By the way, OPCATA has the most maps played. We've played 2 ace maps so far, with now a 50% win ratio on ace maps.
Destroy Call, I think we have the least number of maps played.
Yeah, you and Nerf Raiders are actually tied. Drunk has also played, I guess, 10 maps. And they've only won 4. OPCATA has now won 5 maps.
Just gonna try to find that document you have posted. So what are your thoughts looking at next week?
Hold on, let me give me a second to actually look at that matchup.
For anyone interested, here's the Excel sheet that we are working with for the stats.
Yeah, I also posted the Google Doc in the chat here and on. Okay, let's see, and on Discord. So yeah, let me look at the challenge here. The next matches are Latin Block versus Drunk Friends, OPCATA versus Nerf Raider, and then Team Destroy Call versus YOLO. Definitely the most hype match there is Team Destroy Call versus YOLO. That's a really, really sick series. Both those teams obviously 2-0 in the tournament so far, and I would say pretty evenly matched across the board. Would really be curious to see who takes that one. Maybe YOLO slightly favored. I think Destroy Call is the most balanced team across the board, but I think they might struggle like in that head-to-head ace match. However, we did see Destroy Call beat AC 3-1 in a tournament recently, so maybe that's not as clear cut. I think that's actually really even.
I'm going to reserve judgment as I am a team member.
That's fair. Next, we have OPCATA and Nerf Raider. Just given the performance, Nerf Raiders has been probably the most disappointing team in the tournament.
With
they've
a 14%
really struggled.
Win rate.
Yeah, they've really struggled in the tournament. A little bit surprisingly, I think I would have kind of expected Epic Pants in particular to play a little bit better than he has. He had a couple tough matches.
I would say that's more because of who he played in some cases.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so obviously with only 2 map sample size, I think that still could be close. I think speaking to my team, we've definitely had a little trouble we haven't had a full 4-player roster yet. And Prankster's been practicing a lot, but the fact that he's had to play 4 maps has made it a little hard for us. He's only got a 25% win ratio at the moment. But in general, I think the Nerf Raider matchups actually favor us a lot more than even the Drunk matchups. So I feel pretty good going into that one as well. What do you think of that matchup?
I do think it's going to be interesting. I definitely think if Epic Pants can find the suitable opponent, he can really make a comeback. Because so far he played Norm, in which case Norm almost always has done the RVR style. So it would make sense that, if nothing else, he is prepared for that. And then after that, playing AC, who, again, AC used to be one of the top players and still is right up there in terms of top people.
Yeah. Also, I would say, as far as individual matchups go, I think Epic Pants needs to work on his mech play. But I would say his Rax versus Beast is actually very scary. And since most of our team is pretty Beast heavy, that could be advantageous to him for sure. That'll be interesting to see.
I think Hummon's going to be an interesting one to look at too. Human.
Yeah, he's played pretty solidly so far in the tournament. I think his first match was close. He didn't quite. I think he had trouble against the mech play. I think a lot of players, aren't as good against the mech if they don't know what they're doing.
I do think,
but against against I don't remember who he played last, but he played a really good map last game. I think Thurks he played against.
Thurks when he was down the build order. But
technically, he has the only map win of the entire Nerf Raider team, so that's kind of cool.
I do think that Full Collapse might have a bit of trouble with quite a few of your people.
Yeah, I think Full Collapse is a really good player, but I think his practice just hasn't been where it needs to be. I think he's only recently come back to the game, and I think his play's not as clean as it. Yeah, his matchup understanding is not where it needs to be, and his macro is not where it needs to be at the moment to really compete.
And that's mainly because the changes of how the game works fundamentally.
Yeah. But that said, I think if he hits one of the weaker players in the pool, particularly his I think his versus Beast can be decently scary if he plays a clean map. And then I guess finally we have Latin Black versus Drunk Friends. Another really close match, but I really feel like for Drunk Friends, they've played 2 ace maps so far. I think they're a very balanced team, but they really have trouble getting a win in that fifth map. I think they're going to be there, and I think that's what they're going to struggle with against Latin Block here.
Especially where Latin Block has a wonderful ace.
Yeah, having AC as that ace player for Latin Block makes them really scary. I think Daz would be heavily favored against anyone he plays in that 5th map.
And I do think it's going to go 2-2 for that roundup.
Yeah, although I will say I think there's a shot for Drunk Friends to actually win 3-1. So if they take their weakest player and they have him face Daz, if you look at the rest of the roster, that's Vizixfan, Exilius, Kitario. If you got a Rhinus Kitario or even a Rurks Kitario matchup, I can easily see Drunk Friends taking those 3 maps and then just losing the map to Dragon Archer Z, but still winning the overall series without going to Ace.
I can see that too.
So I think that's going to be a scary thing for Latin Block is their preparation and how well they can play. I think Exilius he's almost like Prankster Gangster on my team. He's been practicing and he's been playing decent, clean games, but just still a step below where a lot of these players are. A lot of these guys have been playing the game for a long time. I mean, if you look at Drunk Friends, people like Dabina and Rurks have been really putting in a lot of work in the game. I think the key to that is going to be where Zhao plays. I think you have to try to hit Zhao versus Dragon Archer Z.
The thing about Zhao is he knows a lot of the subtleties of the game. So it's also his lack of openly playing with a lot of people means he's a bit of a wild card. People don't know how he's going to play or what he's going to do.
I don't know exactly his level because he's also had some really tough draws because last week he played AC, this week he played against me. And both games ended rather quickly. So like I honestly don't know what his level of play is against a mid-level player, to be honest. Like I think I would assume he could probably hang with someone like Vizix or Exilius. He'd probably struggle against Kitario. Obviously, he'd get destroyed by Dragon Archer Z. So it'd be really interesting to see actually how that ends up playing out. I think that the map picks for that series are going to be really, really important.
Would you be interested in playing a match before we finish up the stream? Outside of the tournament, of course. Or are you ready to wrap up for today?
Sorry, say that again?
I was asking if you would like to do a game before we stop the stream.
Yeah, I'd love to keep playing. I was gonna maybe, it's getting a little bit late. I was gonna maybe stream a couple ranked games on my own, but yeah, I'd love to play if anyone's down. Bit of a show match would be fun, perhaps. I don't know if Mr. AC here would like to play, or perhaps Glaba.
I was hoping to play you. I haven't played you in a while.
Oh yeah, I'd love to play you as well, Hobo. What map?
How about Silent Fjord?
Right on.
Hoping I pronounced that correct. And then I think I'm gonna be closing the stream up after this match.
For sure.
I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready. It's full. I will say, it's been super fun seeing how much people are practicing and preparing for these tournament matches.
I think a lot of it has to do with the mentality.
Yeah, I think the level of the scene at the moment is higher than I've ever seen it. Like, the amount of players that are actually decent is pretty solid, I think.
Enough to hold 6 full teams of 4 people.
Yeah, and of those 6 teams, pretty much every team has at least 2 to 3 really solid players, I'd say. So that's been cool to witness. And definitely there's I think some ace imbalances, but I would say overall, like, I think we have a couple players that are definitely like the top aces, but even at the around those 6 teams, I think there's still a lot of evenness there, so that's pretty cool.
I'm definitely looking forward to how this is going to play out. Do you know how the finals are going to work for the tournament? Is it going to be based off the number of matches you get, people have won, or what?
Yeah, so I haven't completely figured that out. Basically, yeah, whoever has the most match wins, the top 2 will advance. I think if there's a tie of match wins, we're going to go to map score and also head-to-head score. Okay. So I should, one of these weeks, I need to get those rules officially posted so people understand it.
And my next question would be, how many weeks are we intending on doing this tournament? I mean, there's still strong interest in it now, but...
Yeah, so it's currently, the plan is for a round robin, so each team plays each other, so that would be 5 rounds.
So about a month and a week?
Yeah, so there'll be 5, so there'd be technically 3 more weeks, 3 more weeks, and then a final between the top 2 teams.
I just looked at the stream chat for a second there. AC said you did an easy loss against him, and then said, oh, you're playing Hobo. Some BM being thrown there.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing a couple more games after this one if anyone's still around. I might boot up my own stream for about an hour or so. We'll see.
I'll be stopping after this one, probably.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, and I do know a couple people did voice interest in casting as well. So, like, Hobo, if you ever need a break on a day, do let me know. Because I think Norm said he wanted to cast one of the days, so I might contact him next week to see if he can cast one of our series.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. My classes are actually stopping at the end of next week, and I only have 1 final, so that's very good for me.
Please don't rush me, Hobo.
I don't play that style.
Are you? I thought you play always mech.
No.
Do you play racks too?
I play quite a few of things.
Okay.
As you wish, sire. As you wish, sire. As you wish, sire.
I have the unfortunate issue of I don't specialize in anything, so I tend to do different things. They have their advantage and their disadvantage.
That makes you a more deadly player in a tournament format. It's harder to prepare.
Potentially.
As you wish, sire. As you wish, sire.
Ooh, no.
As you wish, sire.
Thank you.
Don't want that to happen, now do I?
I stand ready. Certainly, sir.
Don't mind me. Advanced Workshop, Cool Beans. And do I get off? I do.
Oof.
So it looks like potential drops. Sounds good.
As you wish, sire.
I mean, if that makes you feel better.
I didn't see a mill, so I'm gonna hope that's the case. Expansion-ish.
Your orders.
Sorry, I need 3 minutes real quick.
All good. Just gonna take a look over in stream chat for right now. Just taking a look at the different chats here.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I'm here. Ready?
Just a sec. And I'm ready when you are.
Alright, let's go.
Your command.
Hold on. Pause for a sec. It seems I have some kind of sticky key situation going on here. Okay, I think I'm ready. My shift key was just stuck for some reason. Ready?
Yep.
As you wish, sire. As you wish, sire.
Overall, I'm looking forward to the next set of matches.
Yeah, that's going to be probably the most hyped match we've had so far this tournament. That'll probably be Saturday, kind of the early slot, unless other players have problems with that.
I was hoping to get you to throw some stones into your own worker line there.
Yes.
Didn't quite work out.
I stand ready.
Is there a patrol feature in the war game?
Yes, you wish, sir. I stand ready, sir. As you wish, sire. I stand ready.
Hello.
Your command. At once, sir.
Well then. Fancy seeing you down there.
Yes, certainly, sir. Wish, sire.
That was not very nice of you.
I stand ready. Your command. As you wish, sir. As you wish, sire. Certainly, sir. Certainly, sir. I stand ready. Certainly. Yes, sir. Yes. As you wish, sir. At once, sir. At once, sir. As you wish, sir.
Lots of drop play.
As you wish, sire. At once, sir. As you wish, sir. Certainly, sir. Yes. At once, sir. As you wish, sire. Certainly, sir.
Does you have anything to eat?
As you wish, sir.
Can you not?
Once, sir.
Can I not what? It's okay.
Can you not
Sir.
be annoying?
As you wish, sire.
Thanks.
As you wish, sire.
Catapult, please? No.
As you wish, sire. Yes. Your orders. As you wish, sire. Yes, sir. At once, sir. As you wish, sir. Your command. Yes. As you wish, sire. Yes, sir. Stand ready, sir. As you wish. As you wish. Yes. I stand ready. As you wish, sire.
Sorry for the lack of commentary.
Orders. As you wish. Certainly, sir.
Ooh, so many caltrops.
As you wish, sir.
Huh. There's a catapult in my main base.
At once, sir. Yes. As
That's rude.
certainly, sir. I stand with sir. Your command. Certainly, sir. Your orders. At once, sir. Yes. Yes. With sir. At once, sir.
Here I am just trying to do my thing, and there are catapults.
I stand ready.
Life goes on.
As you wish, sir. Certainly, sir. Your command. With sir. As you wish, sir. As you wish, sir. With sire. As you wish. I stand ready. At once, sir. With sire. Certainly, sir.
Okay.
At once, sir. As you wish, sir.
Again, sorry for the lack of commentary. I'm losing so many workers left and right. Yeah, I think that's game. With 47
GG.
pop. I think I needed upgrades a lot sooner. And
Yeah,
I just lost way too many from the drops.
yeah, I think you were behind a little bit. Like you took good bases, but you weren't able to actually defend them.
Mhm.
I think you need to try to spread a couple more towers, like the low ground to your fourth, for example. You'll kind of always need a tower there.
Yep.
But yeah, really decent game there. You kind of got about 3 mineral lines wiped, so like 30 or 40 workers lost. I felt like so. It's
A
really
lot
hard
of
to
the
recover.
losses there from that. But I think
Yeah.
that paired with upgrades and maybe airships would have helped my side a bit more.
Mm-hmm.
I think I also should have switched to soldiers a bit sooner. I was thinking of too much about trying to counter the drops with archers. Well, GG. I think that's going to round up for today's stream.
All
I thought
right.
the matches today were very fun.
Yeah, good maps. Thanks for casting. It was very enjoyable. And that's match day 2 in the trash can here for Little War Game Pro League. Thank you all for watching who was on the stream.
Well, take care, guys.